on my outing out of quarantine to go get some bits. I found this flower pot sitting on the shelf for 75p. And to make it extra nerdy, we're doing the special edition version of the Sarlacc, so it has more bits to it essentially. The original Sarlacc didn't have like a little claw mouth that looks a bit like the plant from Little Shop of Horrors and didn't have quite as many tentacles coming out of it. But obviously we want this to look pretty cool, so the more we can add the better, so special edition it is. So we got a plant pot. There's a hole in the bottom of the plant pot. We need to fill that hole up. So I've got some random little thin wood offcuts. I'm just going to cut it down to size, throw it in there and glue it to the bottom of the pot. Alright, so the hole is filled and we want to have our Salacc probably just above this little rim of the actual pot here. So we need to fill in the void at the bottom. So I actually have some of this hanging around, which as you can see, still bagged up and I've not used. So this is soft foam. For any of those who have seen my really old, very bad Dr. Octopus cosplay tutorial, you would have seen a foam very similar to this that we used to make the separate segments of the tentacles. So basically this is something, it's a bit like expanding foam. You mix these two parts together, you put them in the mould, it will expand to fill up the mould. And I think this stuff is also self-skinning. So basically what it does is it creates a smooth surface when it hits like the edge of the mould, rather than being like you can imagine like a sponge texture to be. We're going to put part A of the kit in, and I'm just going to fill it up to the 100 line on the millilitres measuring part and see what weight that gives us. So that's 88 grams on that one, and pour 44 of this in. Ooh, a tiny bit over, but that shouldn't affect it at all, so enough for scales. And now you want to mix that nice and thoroughly, and I think this is already starting to expand, so I'm going to pop that down there and start pouring that in. Right, I'm going to do that about halfway. I've still got a bit left over. I'm just going to see how far that goes. So it's actually kind of ballooning in the middle, so it's not coming up evenly on the sides, but it's coming to the correct height that we want it for. Okay, so we've got to leave it to sit for a little while before it's fully set, because it's still a bit sticky. So whilst we do that, I've still got some craft clay left, and I'm going to use this to make some of the tentacles. Okay, so we've got all our little tentacles, got a tongue, and we've got lots of teeth. This has, for the most part, set. I've ripped up the excess just so you can kind of see the difference between the texture, like the top, see where the skin bit is, and also the inside. It's very spongy on the inside, so that's going to be a really good base for making our little sand dune. So what I'm going to do is mix up another very, very small batch, go around this outside edge here and just fill that in, and then what we can do is when that's all set is start cutting away at that with a blade and sort of make our little sort of indent in the dune sea where our Sarlacc is going to be. So obviously we're missing the actual mouth of the Sarlacc, and I was thinking of doing it out of EVA foam, but I think I'll probably get a better texture because it's like a beak, so you kind of want it to look different to how the tentacles and stuff look. I got a load of this polymorph, which is a thermoplastic. I bought this stuff years ago and I don't think I've used it in a video yet. So basically it comes with these little plastic beads you see in here, and what you do is you boil water, you pour the beads into the water, these beads then go clear, and what you do is you take them all out and you can form them into any shape you want. So here's some like excess bits that I was messing about with back in the day. So it's now basically a solid lump of plastic, but the beauty with this is if you think, oh man, that's the wrong shape, I need to fix it, and it's already solidified, just pop it back in boiling water again, reform it, and yeah, that works fine. If you keep reforming it, the plastic tends not to work as well. It's better when it's fresh, but that's why I keep sort of all these excess pieces so I can still use them up. Okay, so here's our little mouth pieces. So the tongue fits in there quite nicely as well. Yeah, as you can see, we put some more in, fill up the edges. So what we're going to do now is just peel away bits and cut into it and try and make a nice little hole for our Sarlacc to live in. Right, so we've sort of scooped out what we want to get rid of on the inside of our pot. So before we glue anything in, we want to actually start adding some of the base on it. So I've got some sand. Obviously you can use model making stuff. So do the usual trick of PVA glue, make sure we get in all the sort of the cracks, and just start adding bits of sand here and there. Obviously we don't want it all over the inside because some of it's going to be like the actual skin of the Sarlacc, but you still want some. So with the blade I've just scored these pieces just to add a sort of a little bit of detail to it. So now I'm just going to paint these up with acrylics. Okay, so I've also gone and added some more of that foam clay on the inside, just to get sort of what would be the flesh layers, so the bits that won't be covered with the sand. Having the PVA glue in there, it seemed to really help it stick and be able to spread it around, so it's only a thin layer in here. But now that's dried overnight, we're going to start painting bits. So all our tentacles have dried as well, so we've just got to add a little bit of detail to them. So I'm probably just going to score some little bits with the blade and then just carefully go over it with a heat gun. And then it'll be just some more sand and little details and we'll have a baby Sarlacc. Okay, so we're nearly there. So we've got all the inside painted, glued all the teeth in. I didn't bother PVAing the foam because normally you have to seal foam. I mean, with the foam clay, I don't think you have to worry about that too much because it's a different slight texture to EVA foam. But I have sealed the tentacles just because obviously they're going to be sticking up and out the pot, so they're going to be the ones that, if it does get wear and tear, that will most likely be the parts that do. You can see we got the beak, We've got the tongue in there, so I went over like the bits of foam, especially the tongue with the heat gun, to bring out all the sort of cracks that's in the foam, because when you manipulate the foam clay, when it starts drying, it starts to sort of crack a little bit. And if you heat up the paint as well, so when you painted it on and heat up with a heat gun, a little trick I picked up from friggin' Boom Toys is the paint will start to bubble, so you can't really see it, but up close, there you go, you can kind of see it there, just sort of more towards the base of the tongue. I've also made sure I've sealed the beak before I put it in, just with some matte lacquer, because just acrylic on the plastic like this will just come off really easily, so having that matte lacquer on there just means it won't chip off. So yeah, all we got to do now is paint the tentacles pretty much the same colour as the inside of the Sarlacc. Glue those in place and then do the final sort of bits of sand decoration. So there you go, that's how I made Jimmy the Sarlacc. So he's gonna sit on a windowsill somewhere, because just, you know, from the side it just looks like it could be a kind of plant, and then you get up close to it and oh no, it's a horrible monster. You're not horrible, you're awesome. So thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, then please do subscribe. It would make Jimmy very happy. Thank you, as always, to my supporters on Patreon, especially to Jeff Kenny. As always, links to my Patreon are at the end of this video and in the description down below. So stick around for some more Star Wars goodness, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, and as always, may the Force be with you.